Hey Avish, how are you?
Hi, Sid. Good to see you again.
Yeah, man, as usual, it's exciting to get back to our cricket, and let's start off with the series between India and England. They won the series 2-1, and the scores were 329 all out to India, and England they won by 7 runs. Yeah, so what were your thoughts in general throughout this whole series?
I
Hello,
think
can you
it's
hear
been a
me?
fantastic series for batting. Uh, we've seen some really good scores. The pitches were really good. The pitches were really good for batting. And
Hmm.
getting back to that decider, I don't think India would have wanted that game to go that close because it got
Hmm.
really, really tense
Yeah.
with Karan. I mean, what an innings from Karan to take it that deep.
Hmm.
And stage, I looked at the game and I thought that this is England's to lose because they
Hmm.
they look comfortable, man. They look comfortable, and for a large part of the game, India were actually bossing it. Um, I think the approach from England, they could have chased that score down, no doubt. But the approach from the especially the top order, it didn't really work out.
Hmm.
They just lost too many wickets in that first 10 overs, and then it's very difficult to be on top of the game thereafter. Um, lots of soft dismissals. Jason Roy, for all his fanfare, I think he's a bit hit and miss. To be honest with you,
Hmm.
uh, I think in ODI cricket, there's still room for good old fashioned cricket where you keep wickets in hand, and I think a team that keeps
Hmm.
wickets in hand is actually very dangerous in that last 10 overs, and then they can
Hmm.
score as many runs as possible. So I think it's very important to still play sensible cricket, you know,
Hmm.
and not try and intimidate the bowler or such, because you're gonna get your chance once the bowler tires, once the fielding team goes a bit flat. Uh, there's your opportunity to catch him. So I don't think they're really catching. I thought that score of 329, 330 was well within their grasp as a batting unit. They could have easily chased that score down. But yeah, no, credit to India as well. I think the opening spell from Kumar, he bowled really well. So I think that
Yeah.
swung them in India's favor. And I think he probably, if you would have to talk about batsmen, I would say he was probably the difference in the series as well.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a good thing you brought that up at the end because it was a bit weird to see the opposition side getting the man of the match and the man of the series. I think Kohli had mentioned in the presentation that Thakur should have been the man of the match, and then Bhubaneswar had made a big case for being man of the series. So, what were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think he has a good point there because I think, especially in the crucial games, the first game and the last game, he came up with crucial wickets, and that swung the momentum. Because I mean, um, 15, 20 overs of Bairstow is quite destructive, and he can completely take the game away from you. So I think getting his wicket and getting Jason Roy's wicket, and we all know, I mean, that partnership, I mean, it can go big or it can go home, and we saw it there. So I don't know if the pressure of a decider got to England a little there,
Hmm.
where they actually had to win this game in the series.
Yeah.
Maybe because you've seen some good cricket from England. I think India is a tough place to go and win series, no doubt. But they showed so much of. I think this was probably the best limited overs England side that has gone to India for a very long time, and actually
Hmm.
competed quite well, where they actually were, in touching distance of actually winning the series. And I don't know if they feel a bit disappointed that they didn't, but yeah. I'd still say Kumar was the difference in the series because those crucial wickets up front and in the middle overs as well just swung the momentum in India's favor. So yeah, if he was given man of the series, was it Besto? I think it was Besto that was given
Yeah.
man of the series.
Yes, Pesto got
Yeah,
man of the series, and Curran
Besto
got the
was.
man of the
So
match. So it was the
I
best.
would have too many complaints for that because I think he was probably the standout bowler of the series.
Who?
Kumar,
Yeah, yeah,
Bhuvneshwar.
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, he was.
I not to take anything away from India, but I feel that England have themselves to blame. And I'll tell you why I'm saying this, because first match, they should have taken it with sensible cricket. Then the second match, but then who knows, that would have happened. Maybe India would have probably won the last two matches. So who knows? I think these are all psychological games. We're probably playing with one another. So maybe the right result was correct with India winning the series. I don't know if I'm overanalyzing it, but the more I think about it now, I think it's probably the right result.
Yeah, man. What I can say about this Indian team is they're really good when they got their backs against the wall. And we've seen it in Australia. We've seen it in this series as well in the
Mm.
Test matches.
T20.
Um, you know, uh, I think it's one thing for opposition to actually look at. You don't bully an Indian team anymore because
Mm.
they come, they get tight, as a unit and they come back strong. So I think those days of bullying an Indian team are probably over because
Yeah.
they we play a brand of cricket that a lot of teams actually want to replicate
Mm.
as well. I mean,
Mm.
I guess there's quite a bit of depth now in Indian cricket than there was because I find it strange because I would think a country like India that has so many clubs and so many pool of players to choose from would have always been right up there
Mm.
international cricket. But let's be honest, it's taken quite a long time for Indian cricket to get to this position where they are now, where they actually are quite a force,
Mm.
in all formats of the game. So it's taken a lot of hard work to get here, and by no stretch of the imagination, as they say, Rome wasn't built in one day, and a cricket team certainly isn't built in one day.
Mm.
It's a season after season, years after years of trying to get a winning formula going. And then I think that's what breeds success. And I think MS Dhoni has to take a lot of credit for this as well, because he built that competitiveness from this Indian side. And then uh, I'd say Kohli, he probably took it. He's probably taken it within his stride as well now,
Mm.
and he's built a solid side that's no doubt competitive. And you've got a quite a prolific batting lineup as well, and
But I
bowlers
think,
that can change the game as well.
but I think you forgot to mention Ganguly. I think he actually started it, and then Dhoni carried it forward, and then Kohli's kind of just also carried it forward. So I think we mustn't forget about Ganguly.
Okay, getting back to the Ganguly era, I think when he took over as captain, I think Tendulkar really didn't have a really good run as captain, and he's losing a lot of games. And yeah, I think Ganguly brought a little bit of steadiness to this Indian side. But I would say I would say Dhoni's captaincy obviously took it to another level where
Mm. Mm.
they actually were much more competitive especially in tournaments.
Mm.
Whereas Ganguly's side, I think probably just fell short a bit in
Yeah, yeah.
certain regards. I mean,
I mean, yeah. But I mean, there was.
I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I'll give you this. I think Ganguly's probably Ganguly's era probably had the best, I would say, batting lineup.
Mm.
You Indian batting lineup that there ever was. I would say,
Mm.
you had about 5 or 6 prolific run scorers in that batting lineup, and especially in Test cricket, it was very difficult to bowl to them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say MS Dhoni, he's got that winning mentality inside. It's just taken, it's just gone by leaps and bounds with
Yeah.
Kohli. Although
Yeah.
Kohli probably jury is out with him in terms of certain series that he's still got to win away from
Mm.
home.
Mm.
This Indian side is probably one of the best one of the best teams that we've seen in international cricket for quite a long
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. I mean, we could talk about India forever, but let's get to our next segment. New Zealand beating Bangladesh 3-0 for the T20s. We did call it, and it was a bit disappointing to be so right. I was hoping to have at least seen a few wins from Bangladesh in the T20s.
Absolutely no surprises there. I think you could see the gulf in class here between both sides, yeah, I mean New Zealand, they're such a smart team. They play good smart cricket, and they're very difficult to beat at home. So yeah, Bangladesh, very competitive at home, but away from home, I think their record is a lot to be desired. Really, really, if they want to really become a competitive side, if they really want to become a top 5, top 6 side in the world, they got to start winning games away from home, because I don't think anybody's going to be taking them too seriously in home conditions if they are actually going to be giving up these ordinary performances. They've always been a side that surprised, but I think surprising and winning is two different things. So yeah, they got to start winning. They got to start winning.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the players that actually came up as teenagers, they've become experienced players now in that side. So I think the time has come now for Bangladesh to take their cricket to another level and start winning away from home, which is very, very important to actually to become a force in world cricket, and become one of the the better sides, I would say. I think Bangladesh are still in that situation where they're very competitive at home, but away from home, really atrocious, I would say.
Yeah, what were your thoughts on Glenn Phillips being man of the series and Finn Allen being the man of the match?
Yeah, I think in New Zealand, probably, they have so many they have great depth in their squad. I mean, considering such a small country
Mm.
with such a small pool of players, but I think it's the way they play their cricket that's very encouraging to see. So yeah, I mean Phillips, he's played some brilliant knocks, and yeah, Allen as well. He was excellent in that last game.
Okay, let's get to our next segment. The drawn match, the drawn series between West Indies and Sri Lanka. Your thoughts on a nutshell, because I feel that the pitches in general have just not been very good, in the sense that you would expect these pitches to deteriorate, but for the first two test matches, they just haven't deteriorated enough to see results. Fine, I know the weather played a part in the second match, but I don't know. Your thoughts?
Uh, Look, I think it was pretty disappointing that you probably couldn't get a result in both games, but I think it's quite a. I think if you had to ask both teams who would be happier, it's definitely going to be Sri Lanka, because Sri Lanka have had a torrid time of winning
Yeah.
test matches. And, I think with the Windies, they actually wanted to win the series really badly because they wanted to boost their rankings, and unfortunately, it didn't work out for them. But yeah, I think the first test, that pitch got really flat in the third innings. We did see that, and then
Mm.
the second match as well. I think the weather as well in that last on the last day probably swung the momentum in Sri Lanka's favor, because they probably had less time to actually get it to survive
Mm.
and get a draw out of it. And I don't think they were ever looking to chase that score down. All
Mm-mm.
they were thinking about is trying to save the match
Yeah.
and get the draw, and that's exactly what they did. So uh, from a Windies point of view, I just think their bowling attack probably was lacking that bit of edge to get those 20 wickets. I just think they probably didn't have that bowling attack to get those 20 wickets as quickly as possible to actually force a win in both games.
Mm.
But yeah, I think it's a fantastic result for Sri Lanka, because that gives them a bit of confidence going ahead in in test matches. But I think there's a lot of work for both teams, going forward.
Yeah, what were your thoughts on Luckmal being the player of the series and the West Indies captain being the player of the match?
I think it was superb from Lakmal. I think he bowled with great control, and he was so economical in both series. And I think when you see Lakmal in that side, he actually makes that Sri Lankan attack look much more potent than it usually is. So I think it's very important for them to keep him fit, because I think he's one of those key players going forward if they are to win test matches and be a competitive side against. It's very important for them, for Lakmal to be in that side, no doubt, playing all those
Okay.
games.
All right. Let's get down. Okay.
With regards to Brathwaite, I thought it was an excellent innings from Brathwaite. Yeah, I thought it was an excellent innings from Brathwaite, because the Windies were in a bit of bother, and he got them out. He got them out of trouble there.
Okay. Oh, sorry, I think I missed you there. What were you saying there towards the end? Because I was having a bit of a connectivity there.
No, I was saying it was a great innings from Brathwaite, because the Windies were in a bit of trouble at one stage, and then he got them out of trouble, and they posted quite a competitive total in the end there.
Okay.
Was it 350 plus, eh? I think it was 350, yes.
Yeah. Yes. All right. Let's get to our final segment. Our South Africa versus Pakistan. An interesting match, because I thought it was one which Pakistan should have won easily, considering the foundation they had. But they won by 3 wickets. So what were your thoughts?
Very strange match. Firstly, it was a crazy game, but I think in terms of the batting, I think the Proteas didn't get enough runs on the board. To be honest with you, the batsmen really need to definitely take some responsibility here. The bowlers, I can't fault the efforts of the bowlers yesterday. It was fantastic for them to fight back the way that they did, because at one stage I was watching that game, and it looked like a cakewalk for Pakistan when Baba and Imam were batting. And the one thing that was startling to see was the body language of the Proteas. There was no energy in the field. They look really flat. But once that wicket went off Baba, it turned into a really crazy game where I think Pakistan, in a way, they really panicked. It was panic. It was panic signs for Pakistan there, and they were actually lucky that they actually didn't throw that game away, because there was a chance in that match where they actually were giving that ascendancy back to SA in such way that they were actually throwing that game completely away. And I think they'd be relieved that they got across the line there, because it was one game that they didn't expect to get that close. I mean, my God, man, taking it to the last over when they needed 3, and Tetukwaya bowled that last over, and the first 4 balls were all dot balls, and I was just thinking to myself, wow, this is crazy now. Are they going to get over the line yet?
Yeah.
And it was absolutely hit and miss cricket. Yeah, a little bit of an ordinary sort of game from Pakistan towards the end there. But I think they'll be relieved that they got over the line. But having said that, I think the Proteas probably batting first, losing those 4 quick wickets just didn't help their cause at all, And what a wonderful innings from Rashid to post something that was competitive in the end. People can fault him for batting slow and so forth, but I don't think you can fault a player. I don't think you can fault a player, because I would have been happy when I was looking at that total. In the back of my mind, I said, if they do bowl well, this probably is.
Yeah, I thought it was a competitive score, considering where they were.
But I would have been more comfortable with around 290, 300. I would say, 293.
Especially with that start, it's not going to be possible. I thought 270 was.
And looking at how this game went, 280 would have been a winning score. You would have won the game. So, Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the batsmen really have to, get their act together in the next game.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to see something here quickly. So, yeah, it was nice to see Bubba, who people say is the next Kohli, getting the man of the match. He batted well, eh?
Yeah, it was a scintillating knock, eh? I mean, uh, it was pure class. It was pure class, and I was watching that game, and I could see the Proteas bowlers. I mean, they just had no answers at certain times in that game, and it was so fluent that you know they every ball that was hit out the middle of the bat was stretched to the boundary, and it was something that most teams, I think, if they had this receiving unit, we cannot contain, and the Proteas battled to contain that. But just looking at that game as well, I think the Proteas, in a way, they hit their lengths too late. I would say. If you look at Nokia's spell, which was quite a fantastic spell, uh, that bowling shot on that wicket was actually the way to go, and they only realized that after taking the wicket of Baba that they had to bang the ball in short, and they would get some assistance off that pitch. Having said that, if they tried that in the beginning, I'm not saying it would have came off, because I still
Mm.
think they were about 15 runs short of a good total. But they probably didn't hit their lengths as early as they could. And I think if you're defending a score like 270, you need a lot of things to go right. You definitely need a lot of things to go right. You've got to take 2-3 wickets up front, and really put the batting lineup under pressure. And if they took those 2-3 wickets up front, I think this Pakistan lineup would have got a bit, um, I don't think I don't think they would have had that confidence in these conditions to actually chase that total down, because there were a lot of nerves in that middle order as well that they could
Mm.
have exposed early, but with some early wickets. But yeah, it wasn't to be. It wasn't to be.
Um, okay, so what's your thoughts for the next match? Do you see us coming back?
Look, it's a must-win game. I think the way forward here is probably bowl first on that wicket, and
Mm.
restrict the opposition, and try and chase that score down, because I guess now in ODI cricket, the way things are going, there's a lot of games where teams are actually bowling first, and willing to chase a score down. I think teams are more comfortable chasing these days than actually setting a score, because you really don't know what's the winning score at the moment in certain conditions. And I know
Yeah.
certain conditions are different. The conditions in South Africa are way different to, excuse me, the conditions that you get in the subcontinent, because
Mm.
the ball does a lot in SA. Let's be honest, the ball does a lot in SA, and there's a lot of
Mm.
assistance for the seamers, where you don't really get that much of assistance in India, or,
Mm.
or, or say anywhere else in the subcontinent, where it's quite flat, and good batting wickets. Whereas here, I think uh, I think the way SA played in that first 10 overs wasn't good at all. Um, you probably got to be, I wouldn't say conservative, but you got to be cautious. As much as possible, don't lose any wickets in those first 10 overs. Those first 10 overs are crucial. And I think once you pass those 15 overs, it gets a little easier, man. I mean, the fielding restrictions, go out, and there's a lot of gaps that you can just. I think one day cricket has a lot to do with milking singles. You got to milk those ones, you got to milk those twos, and that's how you wear the opposition down. And your time is going to come where you're going to be able to launch those deliveries out of the ground, and get those boundaries, and get your 300 plus score. So I think most importantly, especially in those middle overs, you've got to milk the opposition. You have to milk the opposition ones and twos, and then that's how you build pressure, and that's how you actually wear the opposition down. So I think very important, good old fashioned ODI cricket is important, and we just saw it yesterday with Baba, and the way Imam ul Haq batted as well. They did take a lot of ones and twos, and the Proteas battled to contain that. So yeah, I mean, I just want to ask you a question. I mean, what
Sure.
do you think of Bavuma's captaincy in this first match, and what do you think of him batting where he is in the batting lineup? Do you think that he needs to open, or is he happy? Are you happy seeing him in that position,
I
or is
think it's
Markram
early.
actually?
I think it's early days. Eh? He's just started, so we'll only be able to judge him once the series is over. I mean, he's only batted for the first time. I think he's batted number three before. I think it was
Yes, he
probably
did
against
against England.
Ireland. I think, oh, England. Oh, I thought it was against Ireland or
England as
something
well, yeah.
like that. I thought it was against Ireland the one time where he made 100 against them in a one-day game. Maybe my memory is failing me.
Yeah, no,
But
that's
yeah,
correct. That was his debut. He scored 100 in debut. So, I mean, this guy can score runs. I mean, but
yeah.
I just feel there's a
Oh,
lot of criticism at the moment regarding him. So
oh,
I,
I think,
I,
I think,
as you said,
but
I don't think you can judge a player on on on
one
or a
match,
captain
being
on
captaincy,
one
yeah.
match.
Mm-mm. And
And
also, the thing about it,
if I want to take this a little further,
wasn't bad
if
actually.
I want to take this a little further,
Yeah,
sorry, man, uh, I don't think you can even judge a captain on his first series
mm-mm.
because
Yeah. You give him a few series, like maybe two or three, and then you get an idea how he judges, how he captains. I mean,
yeah, I remember Graham Smith when in his early stages as captain. I think he went to New Zealand in an ODI series and SA got smashed. I think it was 5-1, and then he went to Sri Lanka in that same year and they lost 5-0. So
sure,
I think
bad.
those were difficult for SA cricket. But I think thereafter, I think Smith really built quite a formidable ODI side.
Yes.
As time went on, they became more and more competitive. So I would think the South African mentality is always to remain competitive in limited overs cricket and test matches, and then they're looking to build a side. I mean, I don't think any team is happy losing. You know, I don't think any team is happy losing, and I did see Bavuma the way he reacted yesterday. I mean, he was a bit disappointed with the result. It wasn't the result that that he wanted as a captain and as a player. And he took responsibility for his the way he was dismissed as well, very soft. But after all, but concerning with the way the cock is actually still playing. I'm not sure if he's actually gotten over his slump in form, and
Yeah.
he's a guy. He's a very instinctive player. I mean, we all know he's a very instinctive player in the way he plays. But I think instincts has also got to be addressed. You can still be instinctive, and you can still. I mean, you got to put a price on your wicket, no doubt about it. You got to put a price on your wicket. You got to wear the opposition down, and your time is going to come for you to blast them. And I think a guy like AB, he was such a master at this. Uh,
Hmm.
AB was a guy that I don't think you'd see AB throw his wicket away. I think he's a very slow starter when he came to the wicket. He'll nudge
Yeah.
those ones, he'll nudge those twos. But once AB got in, I mean, he really put the opposition to the swat. So I think this is something that the cock needs to look at as well, and I hope that's been addressed. But with Markram as well, what did you make of him as an opener? Do you think he's actually somebody that actually should open in ODI cricket, or there's somebody
Yeah.
else that would
I mean, if you're not
would
going to put
fill
him as an
the
opener, you'll probably put him at number three. No, I think he's good. I just think he needs more time to still get better and better. Because I think at the time we had given captaincy against India because I think Faf was injured, I think, at that time. And I think the captaincy must have distracted his batting. So I think now that he's no longer captain for the ODI, I mean, then he'll do pretty well being an opener. Just give him a chance, maybe a few series. Then you can probably put him in the middle order or number three or something. Yeah, Bavuma wouldn't be a bad opener actually. Now that I think about it, because we still have more balls to face then. But let's just see how the series goes. I mean, we do need to win, that's for sure. But this Pakistan team is, I would say, better than us at the moment. But though maybe I'm just being a bit harsh.
I think as South Africans, as the Proteas, and especially as fans, I think we become accustomed to seeing subcontinent teams come down here and struggle a lot.
Mm,
And years gone by, but I would say international cricket now is much more competitive. You know, and teams like Pakistan and New Zealand are actually pushing above their weight now. And there was
mm,
a long time there was for a very long time, Pakistan, used to come to these pitches and they couldn't handle the pace and bounce. But I think teams are getting better with a short ball as well, especially some subcontinent teams are getting much better. And I know a lot of fans would look at us and say, you know what, you're losing to Pakistan in your own backyard, and that's a hard that's a pill to swallow, because I mean they're a subcontinent team and they're coming from Asia, and these are different conditions to them. There's a lot of bounce, there's a lot of pace, but I think you got to look at the panel as well. And I don't think this Proteas ODI side is very experienced. And let's be honest about it. This ODI side is not very experienced at the moment. They need to play a lot of cricket. They just need a lot of cricket. They just need a lot of cricket under their belt, and I think that would give them a lot of confidence. But I think it's a lack of cricket at the moment, and the lack of experience that's actually hindering the side. But I don't think they're a bad side. I don't really think they're a bad side. There's a lot of decent players in this line. I mean, it's just a matter of time that they will click. So, yeah, I know it was a difficult loss to take, but I was happy with the way that they fought, especially the bowlers.
Yeah.
And it was good old South African fighting. So I think that's very encouraging going to the next game. And if they can take this in the next game, if they can bowl the way that they bowled in the last 20 overs, say in the first 10 or 15 overs, they're well on the way to winning the match.
Okay. I know I didn't bring up this topic on WhatsApp, but I just realized the IPL will be happening this coming Friday. So let's just do a quick preview. I know that the Mumbai Indians are playing as RCB and Chennai, and it's an interesting one because normally I would say Mumbai are the favorites, but now that the match is going to be in Chennai and we know how delightful the pitches are there, who do you think is going to take it?
So it's a difficult one at the moment, hey, because I know you mentioned the IPL is going to start on the 9th of April, but I mean I'm just looking at the news now, and the COVID cases are actually spiraling in India at the moment. It's like just under 100,000, and I'm not sure if the IPL committee has a contingency plan to probably go to the UAE, because I think the UAE wouldn't have been a bad idea of playing the IPL in the UAE, because the IPL in the UAE was quite. I thought it was one of the best IPLs that we've seen in modern times. Last season's IPL in the UAE, it was actually very exciting. The matches were wonderful to watch, and I just saw a couple of Delhi players actually tested positive for COVID as well. So I know you're saying the IPL is going to start on Friday, but I'm not sure if things are going to be changed. Things are changing all the time. Maybe in the next few days, whether they have a contingency plan to maybe move this tournament to, I don't know, UAE or maybe a neutral venue.
It might be a bit abrupt there to tell everyone at the last minute, but I guess if any country can do something like that, it could be India. And I remember how they came to us abruptly, and we did a good job hosting the IPL, and but they are playing behind closed doors, so they should be okay. I mean, as long as they take precautions. That's why I don't see any changes on ESPN Cricinfo. So I have faith that the tournament will go on.
Yeah, I mean, if it's going to go ahead,
a bit boring, but better than nothing.
Better than no IPL, absolutely. So that opening game between the Mumbai and RCB, it's quite an interesting game, and we've seen some good clashes between these two franchises over the years. I think in terms of the batting, I think RCB's strengthened the batting this season, so that would probably be their strength. But I think their bowling, they've got to really tighten up on that bowling side, because I think the bowling has been a bit of an issue for them in seasons gone by, especially in India as well. But I think it's a good thing that they're playing in a neutral venue, because that would obviously level the playing fields a bit between both sides. Level the playing field.
Funny, because look at this match. I'm thinking automatically Mumbai, but the venue is making me tilt towards RCB for a reason. So
absolutely, because I think that they're playing in Chennai. Am I right?
Yeah,
They're playing that
yeah,
first game in Chennai. So look, RCB have a good spin attack. So I think that in a way that would probably be able to trouble Mumbai in terms of their bowling. But uh, I expect to be a close affair. I really expect this
yeah.
one to
I
be a
think
close call.
Mumbai.
It's hard to call.
You know what's funny? I think Mumbai are kind of known to be slow starters. I remember the UAE, they started weirdly, and I was thinking maybe they weren't going to win this IPL in the UAE, if I can remember last
Absolutely.
year, and then yet they won so easily. So don't be surprised if RCB, I think, pinch this one, but it'll be a good wake-up call for Mumbai to, as usual, bounce back and, probably win it again. But, that's a bit mean toward the other teams. But I'm just going, if
I
it's
think
not
it's a bit
Mumbai,
premature to say that Mumbai is going to win it. A bit premature. But yeah, they are slow starters. And like you
I
said,
know
they
that
generally
Michael
are
Vaughan
slow
is a
starters.
big Mumbai fan. He's already called Mumbai to win it this year. I'd love KKR to hopefully come back and win it. I love KKR to win it, if not Mumbai, so that's okay.
I think a team like Rajasthan are looking quite strong as well this season.
Oh
So
yeah,
you really can't
I'm
discount them.
not really a fan of this, but I don't really. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I just don't like
And,
one of the owners.
look, look,
I
look.
don't know.
Delhi are getting Delhi are
Oh
going
yeah,
from
of
strength
course.
to
They're
strength.
also
But
very good.
yeah, look, I'm hoping for an RCB win because I mean that's my team. So I hope RCB can get off to a winning start there. And yeah, I hope AB can get into those runs there. Score a big one
Oh yeah,
and get
AB is
RCB over the line.
playing, isn't he? AB de Villiers is playing this IPL.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Should be
Yes,
fun. Should be fun.
should be fun. Should be fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh
So
yeah. Oh,
RCB, fingers
Okay,
crossed.
so you're predicting RCB to win this opening one.
Yeah, RCB.
Okay, and I know it's premature to call a winner before this whole tournament, but who would you pick? Just off the cuff, just for fun.
Jeez, man, it's premature. Said, come on, it's premature. Yeah,
Okay,
look, there's a few teams.
okay, fine. You can
There,
just
there,
pick
there's a
any
few
two or
teams that
three
can make
teams.
the playoff. I can give you the playoffs. I can give you the
Yeah,
playoffs. Um, I think Mumbai will definitely be there. But if Mumbai are there, they're going to be a force again.
yeah.
Um, I think
KKR.
RCB can make the playoffs again.
Okay.
Depending on how
Okay.
far they go, I'm not too sure.
Oh, what about KKR?
Delhi, Delhi is going to be there. Delhi is going to be there,
All
and
right.
then there's the fun part. It's going to be a tussle between CSK and KKR for that
Oh,
fourth spot as
yeah. I
well.
forgot
So
about CSK. They were so dismal in the last IPL. I forgot about them.
absolutely, I can see that. I can see them a bit stronger this season, especially because
Yeah,
they're
of
playing.
course. Yeah, Dhoni wouldn't have been happy with what happened in the previous one. And in India, Chennai are very good. So, okay.
Yeah, they're very
As,
strong. Yeah.
yeah, as usual, it was great getting your insights and thoughts, and we shall catch up again soon.
Okay, so thanks. Cheers.